that the creep gives or doesn't do what it's supposed to do and doesn't get out too far. And we see these Phoenixes doing a good job getting this fourth hatchery now that's coming up from LosirA, as if he didn't have a big enough income advantage already. And I'm sure right now MC is a little bit concerned because he's still boxed in here to this natural. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Blink come up from him, Blink Research. So we see the extended thermal lance actually from LosirA, so that's very intelligent. And he's going to go ahead and get into Colossus. Although you see these Hydralisks here, which he sort of dictated by using these air units, and those Colossus can be very effective against them. He needs to get some Immortals though to get these roaches down, and obviously something to keep these Zerglings away from his Colossus. Now we see LosirA thinking about moving into this natural wall, and the Observer is here though, so a little bit of sight from MC. We see he's broken down the cybernetics that used to be here, and he's using this Colossus well, actually keeping it behind his units. Good force fields from those sentries, sort of boxing in a couple of units here. Looks like he took care of about 3 roaches and 2 Hydralisks in that exchange, and LosirA forced to back off with these Hydralisks that aren't going to be useful pretty much at all against this army composition, and until the air comes in from MC, they're going to be pretty much useless actually, as long as MC can get in there with a Colossus. So we see a lot of Zerglings now from LosirA. He's got melee upgrades level 1, and we see Blink as well coming up from MC, and he's finally got his 3rd expansion. He's going to have to defend this well though, because LosirA has had pretty good map control the whole game. Take a look at his vision actually, and he knows it's there because he's got that Xel'Naga right here with that Zergling. So he's going to make a move on it right now. Ton of Zerglings. He's not going to move forward any of his roaches or Hydralisks though, which is very cautious play, and it might actually hurt him. He's going to get that, he's going to force a cancel rather for MC, but he's going to go ahead and get it right back up, and it wasn't really worth it actually for LosirA. He could have sent just a couple. We see him transitioning into Banelings now, and we also see Ventral Sacks. Ventral Sack Baneling could be very interesting. I can't wait to see what happens here. He's going very heavy Banelings actually. He's going to have 21 coming up, as well as he's got 49 total. These Phoenixes are going to see it, but those Hydralisks very quickly going to beat him away, and we see, oh boy, this is going to be very, very interesting to watch. I can't wait to see this, because we got, it looks like all 5 of these Overlords are going to have Banelings in them, and there are more coming. Oh my goodness, almost every single Overlord LosirA has looks like it is just massing up Banelings, and this force is heading out here, and in terms of army comp, there are a couple Stalkers here, and they're going to have to get them down very quickly, but LosirA keeping the rest of his ground force down there to keep them occupied, it looks like, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him try and backdoor around this side of the natural. MC knows this is here, so he's going to come out and try and attack it, and LosirA going to be careful with those Overlords. He's going to looks like advance behind with these Overlords. Phoenixes are doing a good job pounding them, but here come the drops, and they're just dropping these Banelings all over the place. And what a move from LosirA. That is something we don't often see, and that was extremely effective. So those of you who play Zerg, take note there. That was an extremely sneaky move, and while he lost a lot of his ground force, and these Hydralisks, by the way, getting absolutely toasted by these Colossus, but it didn't actually work out as well as it looked like it did from a second ago, but very interesting move from LosirA, and he did a very good job getting a lot of those tier 1 units down with that maneuver. Got a couple of Colossus, but it just wasn't enough to turn the tide in his favor. Would have been nice to see him maybe go around the back with a couple of those Overlords and hit the mineral line, because that would have been deadly, and MC doesn't have too much back here to deal with that. But we see, if we go to the units tab, both players still have a fairly good army composition left back here. Just a little bit of action. These Colossus are dealing with these Zerglings fairly well. MC's got to make sure he loses one. He's got to make sure he uses those Blink Stalkers to get in front of those Zerglings and protect his Colossus, because those are very precious units. They do good damage as long as you keep them at range. We see more Banelings coming up from LosirA, and he's going to put them back up in these Overlords, which is unbelievably interesting and very original, and I like it. So another Baneling drop, it looks like. I'm pretty sure he does have a burrow research, so it would be interesting to see if he uses that. It's just like a Baneling landmine as well. because he's going to go very heavy on the landmines, or banelings rather. And if you take a look at the income tab, LosirA still has a very good advantage. He's got to take advantage of that a little bit better, though. He's up 35 harvesters at this point, and we see MC doing a good job with force fields, good job with those blink stalkers, but these overlords are going to fly right over and just drop these banelings all over the Colossus and drop a couple more back here on these stalkers, and MC is going to GG, because that was a fantastic micro play from LosirA and something that MC was just not prepared for. Those force fields keeping out these roaches very effectively, but those overlords just sort of flew right over them, because obviously force fields don't stop air units, and dropping the banelings behind them, getting those Colossus down quickly with them, and LosirA with a great win. And I think MC's major problem here was that he decided to wall himself in and go air early. And while that does work occasionally for an early harass, it doesn't let you expand and have the map control you need. So that is sort of what cost him the game in my mind. But this, keep in mind, this is only game 1 of a best-of-3 series between MC and LosirA, so I hope you will stay tuned for game 2, and I will see you guys then. It's been Kuze for the Contraband Esports Network. I hope you've enjoyed the cast.